And he said, Kobe, the phone just dropped from my hand.
Oh. Your pain in a way. How dare we have expectations of how you should behave or conduct yourself?
Thank you. And I want every survivor to seek help.
And I can't think of any more inspiring example than yours.
Now, could this be the most inspiring LBC caller ever? Now, that caller's name is Adama, who called into the James O'Brien show on the day after the Gisèle Pelicot trial had come to an end. And James, to be fair, he had some brilliant and amazing callers at the time, but Adama's story is inspirational.
Adama is in Mitcham. Adama, what made you pick up the phone?
I pick up this call today because I'm a survivor.
Okay.
Survivor of multiple violence, sexual violence. I had FGM twice at the age of 12, and I was raped by 5 men in one night at the age of 14.
Just for people who don't know, you're describing female genital mutilation when you were 12 years. I'm so sorry.
And the sexual violence at the age of 14 was raped in one night by 5 men in a war situation.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Well,
and how could he? I don't even know my perpetrators. I only know the name of the first person that raped me. I could smell them up till now. And I'm not supposed to talk about it.
What do you mean?
Because it's a culture. When you get raped, it's either your fault, you haven't dressed appropriately, you did not say the words that you meant to say, or just carry on. It's a war. And even if it's a war, it's because you don't run away. When they said the rebels are coming, it's a lot. And the shame to the family, the shame to the wider community, and you basically don't talk about it. There is no discussion about sexual health or sexual well-being in the culture. And men are the hierarchy. And you have a bomb. I've never discussed that about it there until when I came to UK. And trauma has its way of coming back when you're in a safe space.
Yes. And
that's when I start getting my flashbacks. And then I went to college. I explained to my counselor, my friend, and she took me to our class tutor, and the class tutor took me to the counselor, and that's when I start getting help. And I went through 5 years cognitive therapy, intensive, and then 17 years of counseling. I'm now a nurse colposcopist. I work in the cancer specialist department. I got 2 children, married, and I have set up a charity named Women's Health Advocacy Network.
What's the charity called? Say that again, would you?
Women's apostrophe S.
Yes.
Health Advocacy Network.
Okay.
And this charity supports women and girls who have gone through gender-based violence and support them how to get access. Because when I came to UK, there is a trauma barrier, there is a language barrier, there is a cultural barrier, and challenges to access support is immense.
I understand. Even in a society where you can talk about these things, the trauma barrier remains. I don't want to interrupt you, but I do want to know how you have responded to the case that we're discussing today.
I think she came out because it will get to a time. Not everybody is resilient to fight, but those who are, it will come to a time like you really want to get that thing inside out of you. Because that was the point I got when I saw the counselor, like, I need to get this thing that's going through my head that I cannot explain to anyone. I don't know how to deal with it, never deal with my thoughts, my feelings, how to process it, nothing like that. I need to get it out. I was very eager to get that out because I feel like it's eating me up.
Yeah.
And I don't have anyone. It's like a bomb in you. And the best way I could describe to someone who has never been sexually violated how it feels like when you're sexually violated is like when you have a newly built house a very beautiful house. Anyone that goes by want to be in that house. But inside that house is completely demolished.
Wow.
And when you're going through therapy, you have this task of identifying yourself. When you go through trauma for the rest of your life, you are identifying yourself. You're lost. So you have a task to identify the bathroom, or where the bathroom was, where the living room was, where the kitchen was. So when you go through therapy, this is where the relapse comes. If you start at saying the kitchen was where the bathroom was, then that is where your relapse comes in.
Of course.
So that's how you go slowly and you get to the point where you're able to identify all this area. But you're still lost because you're still identifying yourself. You are lost. That's why when things like this happen and criminal justice start interrogating, it's hard to explain because you are not yourself.
Yes.
You're trying to figure out who you are. And this is what you do. People who are survivors will only live a meaningful and fulfilling life, whatever that means for them.
And that's what we see here in this case, is that she has done this for her.
Yes. Yes.
She's rebuilt herself in public.
Yes. And that's what I'm doing. This is my revenge.
Fantastic.
I cannot take my perpetrators to court. I don't know them. I remember that name, Kobe. That was the first person that raped me.
Oh, my days.
Yes. And I remember one time I was at work, I had to call IT department to help me with something.
Yeah.
And I pick up the call and I asked the guy, what's your name? And he said, Kobe. The phone just dropped from my hand.
Oh.
Yes, because that name I will never forget. And the
course.
smell, I always smell that. And the raping was done in such a brutal way where they have to spray a lime and a pepper and everything in you. But I was determined I will never break. And when I came to UK and see all this, there is this help, there is this help, there is this help, and then you still get people who have survived trauma and they don't get help because they said they don't have immigration status. It makes me feel sick.
Of course.
And these are the people I fight for. Migrant community, those who have no record. No woman, regardless of your status, should be denied support when you have gone through sexual violation. No woman. And no one will ever understand that journey unless you have been through it.
I'm sure of that. And yet I know that stories like yours told so powerfully will help those of us who haven't been through it come to at least a better appreciation, but never a full understanding. May I ask you one more question?
Yeah.
How do you deal with the taboo? How do you now help a young woman in the situation you've described deal with the fact that, and it's not unique to any cultures because we've heard from people of all backgrounds about being told to, I don't want anything to do with this, just be quiet, I don't want any part of this. But if it is imbued in family and in village and in community and in religion, how do you help someone break through that barrier of self-imposed silence? And shame, crucially.
Break the silence.
Go on.
Because when you get raped, all your power has been taken away from you. And the first thing you can do when you talk about it, you get your power back. Break the silence. And that's why I'm sending my voice out there. If I can do it, so can you. There is no shame. No, I do not have any shame. I'm not a victim anymore. I'm a survivor. I refuse to be a victim. I'm not anymore. Even though I cannot take them to justice, but my justice is to enable myself and enable millions of women to get out there and be, because the reason why they're not able to come out, because they have been silenced. Culture has been silenced them. The trauma has silenced them. They haven't seen a voice that will motivate and inspire them. And this is why I am out. And this is why I'm helping service providers. I'm helping services, not just survivors, on how to support these people. This is my mission. It needs to stop. Unless the survivors come out and tell their story and help other people how to modify it. Because the people who are supporting us doesn't understand our journey. So my journey is to get survivors out, to seek help, and help them through the trauma journey. but also to support service provision on how to modify the needs of these people. Because there is a lot that is not modified into the system.
Sure.
The system is tick boxes, and we do not fit into tick boxes. The culture I came from, I don't look at elders when they're talking. It's a sign of disrespect.
Yeah.
UK, if I don't look at someone, I'm lying. And I've been accused as using the system. When I was going through my trauma, I was accused as I'm an opportunist.
Yeah.
This is by service providers, people who meant to protect me. I was accused. Like, we just see as an opportunist, we're just using the system. I determined that I want to be stronger. But because that is my defense mechanism. Like what that lady said, why was I there?
Yeah.
You have this question. So now that you are free, you want to protect yourself. So you become very defensive. And people take that the wrong way. And you want to be independent. You don't want to get people involved. And people think that, she's independent. She doesn't need the help.
So expectations. People have expectations of you that are that compound your pain in a way. How dare we have expectations of how you should behave or conduct yourself?
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
If I change my story, I'm not lying.
Yeah.
It's the effect of the trauma. If I ever have a courage to tell you my story, do not dismiss it. Because you don't know when I will ever have that courage anymore.
Wow. The Women's Health Advocacy Network is the organisation that you are, I think, Adama Nyama Bar.
Yeah,
and
I am the founder.
I just looked you up actually while you were talking because I was so. I don't know what the word is. What's the word I'm looking for, Adama? You're the one that's being articulate at the moment, not me.
You do not have to find any word. But the world needs to change. People like your platform need to send the word out there. I'm encouraging survivors to come out. I'm encouraging because unless we come outside and really talk about this and take our power back, this criminal justice, this and this, it does not work. All these policies is to protect the professionals, not the survivors. Mm-hmm. There is no one to manage the expectation of these survivors. And the criminal justice take years. Why do you say you're going to support someone and take years? And it doesn't even mean that when that verdict it comes in, even if they put that person in prison, it doesn't cut for your trauma. It does not.
Gosh.
It does not help your trauma. Not at all.
Of course it doesn't.
And then the more that lingers on, the more you get a constant reminder of your ordeal. And then you come to service provision, they provide 12 sessions of counseling. Oh, that's okay. And then they said, she hasn't got status. Let's help her so that Home Office will give her paper. And then, she hasn't got it. Even if you have a mansion and you have a British passport, or you even have any passport more than British passport, it doesn't cut out for your trauma.
No, of course it doesn't.
You still have to deal with your trauma.
Oh, thank God for you.
It doesn't mean your trauma is gone. Because you got a British passport or you got a house.
No, nothing gets rid of your trauma except in some way the kind of therapy that you've experienced yourself and that you now help other people achieve.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that you exist.
Oh, yes, I do. And I'm fighting. It's exhausting, but I'm fighting.
I work in
the NHS. Yes. I know how it works there, and I'm outside. So I'm fighting and I'm using every platform I can to motivate people. All those survivors who are hearing me today, come out and seek help. Because that life is not a life. Living a life of trauma is not a life. I have just had a FGM defibrillation, a surgery, just to give me some kind of state, some kind of comfort in my life.
Right.
I am type 3 FGM. I went through FGM twice.
Yes.
Well, for me, it has done. But what can I do now to help myself? I have 2 lovely children. I went through 11 pregnancies, 9 miscarriages. I'm a survivor. I'm here for a reason, and I want every survivor to seek help. And
I can't think of any more inspiring example than yours, Adama, and I will find out more about your work, and I hope that I will be able to turn to you again in the future for...
Anytime.
But thank you.
I'm happy to get involved as long as it's to get the word out there.
Well, that is it. I mean, it's simple and yet so difficult at the same time. And that's why I asked you that question about how you do it. And you just tell the story. You just get it out there. Because if it's inside you, it festers, it poisons you, it stays with you, it haunts you and it hurts you. It doesn't fix things when you tell the story, but it starts the process. What an incredible woman you are. And if you want to find out more about Adama's organisation, it's called the Women's Health Advocacy Network, and it is easily identifiable online.
Absolutely inspirational, isn't she? Now, if you want to know more about what Adama and the Women's Health Advocacy Network do, and also if you want to donate as well, the link is in the description box below. And if you found this topic quite triggering, I've left the Samaritan's number in the description box as well below. And it just leaves me to say I'll just leave the video here and I shall bid you farewell and take care, my friends.